Greetings! Welcome to this very first episode of Experimental Brewing with me, your host, Big CQ. On this episode, we're going to be doing a hopped cider. Now, I'm a big hop head myself. I like very hoppy beers, and I thought, hey, why not? Let's do hopped cider. A lot of American craft breweries seem to be doing them. I'd like to give that a bash, so going to be doing one today. So I've got my freshly sterilised 1 gallon demijohn. Got some sugar. I've got 4 litres of this. I'm only going to do 4 litres, not an entire gallon, just to test, and I don't want any Croissant foam to come out the top of the demijohn through the airlock, that is. And the essential ingredient, look, it's hops. Pelletized Hops T90, Australian Galaxy hops. Never used these before. Smell alright to me. And finally, super wine yeast compound. Now, if you've seen my other video on how to make turbo wine coolers, if you haven't, go and have a look, because it's a good one. I use turbo yeast in that. This isn't turbo yeast, it's super wine yeast, apparently. So it can go up to 18% for high alcohol. So, gonna shove some of that in as well. Let's do it. Right, 4 litres of this. Apple juice from concentrate, nothing fancy about it. That lets it pour quicker. Okay, that's 1. 3 more. Okay, so that's them all done. Right, so the apple juice is in. The next ingredient is pelletized hops. You can use any one you feel like you want to use. Cascade, I've heard, works really well. Don't have any of that. The only pellets I've got, in any quantity at least, is Galaxy. So let's open it up and have a sniff of Galaxy. Oh yeah, that smells nice. Yeah, that's going to do well. Look at that. Look at these bad boys. Hello, I am Hops from Australia. Australia? My god, they smell good. Okay. How much are we putting in? Well, my initial idea was to put in 20 grams. I don't know actually, I might need to put a bit more than that in. $25. Why not? Oh, these are really pungent aroma. It's nice. Right, let's get them stuck in that gallon demijohn. Okay, so I'm just going to spoon these in. Oh. Now they'll expand out once they've soaked up some of the apple juice. Usually, of course, pellets would be going into hot water. They would just break apart straight away because of the heat. But in this case, the apple juice isn't hot enough for that, so it's going to take a bit of time. No problem. Right, so as well as that, I'm going to put in 150 grams of just white granulated sugar and then give it a shake. Homebrewed apple wine. Yes, sir. Okay, so we need to dissolve the sugar. Shake it baby, shake it baby. Shake it baby, shake it baby. Ooh. Shaking that shit all over the place, man. There's the cider. Now, pellets in the bottom. Just taking a temperature reading. 20.5, because that's within range. And here's my hydrometer. It's come out at 1056. So that's good. Should get some decent alcohol out of that as well as hop flavour. Okay. Well, it's up to temperature and we're ready for the yeast to go in. Super yeast compound. Now it doesn't actually say on the super yeast compound whether nutrient is required or not. I'm not sure. But it couldn't hurt. So 1 teaspoon of yeast nutrient, in she goes. This is experimental brewing after all. There we are. Next up is super yeast compound. 1 heaped teaspoon of. There we go. Okay. That's the yeast pitched. Delicious. The cider's now fermented out. It's been about a week, and as you can see, here's one I brewed earlier. There it is. And most of the hops have settled right down to the bottom. As you can see there, but there is still some floating in the liquid and on the top. So I've just boiled this. It's actually a muslin cloth rather than a bag, a muslin face cloth, but it's all the same stuff, and I've boiled it and I've cut one corner off it because it's 2-ply. Essentially it's just a bag that's been sealed all the way around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sterilised siphon and tie wrap that bag onto it on the end where the cider comes out. Then I'm going to siphon it from this demijohn into this sterilised bucket, and then I'll have all the hops that's going to be collected by the siphon kept in the bag, throw that away. Okay. There we are. You might notice on this siphon I've actually taken off the end cap that would normally stop sediment going up, because although I'm going to keep this out of the sediment, it would just block up with the hop detritus if I decided to try and use that. So I'm not going to be using it. Final gravity is 1000 down from 1056. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. 7.4%. Right, I've siphoned it into bottles. So there it is. I would normally maybe put it in a secondary to let it clear down, but I'm kind of running low on fermentation vessels at the minute. So the next stage, after putting sugar in, because I want it carbonated, 1 teaspoon per bottle, is to cap it. That's one. Right, it's now about 3 weeks later, and here's the product, the finished product. Still not a clear product, despite it being in the loft, which is nice and cold, for a couple of weeks now. Anyway, I'm getting antsy. I want to try it. So let's see what it's like. Getting some good hop aromas from that already. Okay, so there we go. I suspect it is a very marginally greeny hue to it, probably because of the dry hopping, and it's got an understated hop aroma to it, less than I thought it would have. But you can definitely smell the apples as well. Let's try this. I like that. That's how much I like it. It's refreshing. It's got a zestiness, a tartness to it. It's dry. It's got the lovely galaxy hop flavour in there. It's got some nice aroma. I would have preferred it if it was clear, but I'm not gonna complain on that minor point. Yeah, I like that. Top quality. Right then. I suppose I better let the wife try it and see if she likes it. I hope not. Layers.